Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, we all like to share our views, our perception with the world, isn't it? We are sharing something every day with the people. We share because we think it's the right thing to do. And sometimes our sharing is working, and sometimes the sharing sort of backfires and the conflict builds up. And through the conflict, we recognize, there's a flaws in the perception that we had, or through the conflict that, we recognize the perception that we have right now is correct. It can go both way. And, through this experience, our perception is refining, and from the refined perception, our actions are unfolding in a way that there's a growth, there's an upgrade in life. And that's how the world works. Outer world is about perception and actions, and through that, there's an upgrade, there's a growth. Now, have you ever paused and asked yourself, why is it important for me to share? This is important to do. It's important to be part of this self-inquiry process, because to break free from the mental barrier, especially when you are being part of the spiritual practice. This path is about dissolving the ego, dissolving all layers. And what's happening in the world is the movement of the ego. All perception is ego. Definitely, it's a healthy ego. It's there, but also there's a stubborn ego. But it's all ego. And to be truly free, not just the relative freedom, but true freedom, freedom from the mind, then we have to ask ourselves the question, we have to ask ourselves a question on everything we are aligned with, perspective sense, and also the effort sense, the physical effort. And that's the way to figure out, why we do what we do. We see the deeper reasons behind our actions. So, again, sharing is all good, but we need to ask ourselves, why is it important to share? Again, spiritual practice is about dissolving the ego. All sharing is ego. Even that sharing is supportive in the world, it has to go. That's why we need to ask ourselves, why I have this eagerness to share. Especially notice when you found something that is working, that supports life, you will be eager to share. Especially, your loved one, your surrounding, and you will think that it's the right thing to do. I'm putting my effort to make the world a better place. That idea is there. That's all good. But still need to investigate to figure out the root cause of the surface movement. And also we need to eliminate the root as well, so we can really figure out, what is that layer, the ultimate layer that is making us, participate in the world, in what we do. So today we're talking about, we have this eagerness to share our views, our opinions with the world. Okay. And why is the way? Asking ourselves, why do I think it is important? This simple inquiry is the way to, see the layers of the mind that we don't see normally. We don't see normally in the world. This can be only see the subtle layers of the mind can be seen through the self-inquiry by tracing the mind backward with the why. And being part of this process is the way to not just figuring out the root cause of the issue. We can also figure out the truth of who we are. Yeah. And that's the ultimate goal of the spirituality. Figuring out the plain sight truth, or figuring out the inner truth, or figuring out who we are, beyond our perspective. Not just what we think of who we are, but seeing who we are without the mind, without the, identification. And getting there brings us the true freedom from the mind. Right now, all our actions and perception is coming from the mind. And mind is there because of the past, attachment to the past. The mind is the realm that is creating so much tension in life. Definitely the mind has the positive ideas, and we are moving with the positive ideas, but also the mind has the negative flow. And the negative flow is, the root of the negative flow is the fear, isn't it? Because of the fear, notice how much you stress. The idea of fear can make you sweat. Can make you run away from the situation rather than dealing with the situation, rather than facing the situation and solving the situation. Every time their fear comes in, we run away, or we, resist with our perception, with the actions. Same thing, we control ourselves with the positive attitude, with the positive actions. We create a boundary. Yeah. And that all these actions and perception is there because from the worldly movement, from the relative movement, from our experiential world. Every experience from the world lives this idea. And we have this idea because it worked in the world, and we hold on to it. But thing is that when it comes to spiritual freedom, we cannot hold on to things and create a boundary. To be free from the mind, to free from the fear, we have to undo all the support, the mental support. That this journey is about reversing the mind, reversing our identification of who we are right now, who we think we are. We're reversing that identification to go all the way to, to see the no mind. And no mind is who we are. Now, when it comes to no mind, right now, meditation is a trend. silence is the trend, and people are controlling their body and mind to be part of the silence. People think silence is no mind. Meditation, controlling your body with the mantras, with the with the visualization, thinking that that's the way to go to no mind. But that is not the no mind. It's just spacing out. When you focus on something for a long time, your focal point, the focus dissolves, and you entering to nothingness. But when nothingness happens, you know that nothingness is happening. So it's the idea is still there. The layer, the focal point is still present. So it's not a no mind. The process to go to no mind is tracing back the mind until until you cannot trace anymore, and that's the way to go to the no mind. And at that point, when you can't trace it back anymore, then you have to ask yourself, who am I? And if you are thorough in every ingrained layers in you, that becomes a foundation to figure out the truth. And when you ask yourself, who am I? That's where you click. That's where you see the plain sight truth. That's where your ego self gives up. That's where you catch that your mind cannot comprehend the truth. That's where you recognize, you cannot comprehend the truth. Your ego self drops there by seeing the plain sight truth. And that is spiritual freedom, my friend. So, I know I've diverted to further out, but it's important. Now, let's go back to questioning ourselves. We like to share stuff, our perception in the world. You investigate why am I sharing? Why do I see the importance in sharing? You ask yourself. This simple inquiry can lead you to see the root cause of your movement. And from there, if you keep tracing back, you'll figure out the truth of who you are. You'll figure out the plain sight truth. And for that reason, you ask yourself, any scenarios in life, if you trace it back, it leads to the truth. Okay? So ask, if you're interested in spirituality, ask yourself this question. Today, you ask yourself, why I have this urge to share. Your sharing is an ego. Yes, definitely, the sharing definitely works in the world. Now, that can be seen as a healthy ego. But remember, spirituality is about dissolving the ego. And for that reason, you need to trace your mind backward. Okay? Hope this makes sense to you to some extent. And I hope this channel is helping you to realign yourself towards a path that can really help you, reorient you to, see the truth. And I hope you're seeing it's working. Thank you for supporting this channel so far. Thank you. I appreciate your help. Yeah, that's all in this video, guys. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take it for now. Bye.